What's going on, guys? Got a late night upload for you here. Looking at the first big trade of the NHL season. Carolina trading Justin Faulk and a 5th round pick, the St. Louis Blues, for Joel Edmundson and Dominik Bokk and a 7th. Not gonna lie, when I saw this trade, I really thought like St. Louis fleeced Carolina, but a lot of people are saying it's actually a pretty decent trade. Obviously, with Carolina signing Jake Gardiner as well, you knew a trade was gonna come, and Falk was just for whatever reason the odd man out. I think probably because his contract was expiring. I just figured he was the guy to move. So if you don't know, Carolina has a huge logjam at D. Honestly, I feel like they have 8 or 9 NHL caliber defensemen. So you got Slavin, Falk, of course, they just traded. Hamilton just signed Gardiner, Pesci, Fleury, TVR. Forsling's not too bad. As well, Jake Bean here. I know he's a 72 in game, but honestly, I'm sure you could play like the bottom pair on an NHL team. So pretty crazy, actually, the amount of depth they have. So taking a look at Justin Faulk's trade value here, it's actually the exact same as Dougie Hamilton, which I don't really get it. Hamilton should be worth a bit more just because he's 1 year younger. He is making almost $1 million more, but he's also locked up there for a couple more years. Falk, of course, 27 years old, 84 overall, top 4 defenseman. Offensive defenseman there, you guys can see pretty solid stats in game, 90 passing and puck control. Good speed, powerful shot, even defensive stats there, 90 stick check. Just a solid offensive defenseman, and as you can see there, $4.7 million for 1 more year. I think his actual salary is like slightly above that, but Carolina's actually slightly above the salary cap in game, so everyone dropped like 100 to 200K on their contract for a reason. So on top of Falk, Carolina actually added a 5th round pick as well, which I was kind of surprised by. Like I said, I felt St. Louis really won this trade, so the fact that Carolina even had to add a pick was honestly shocking to me. So St. Louis here trade a really good prospect actually in Bokk. They have a few guys that I think are better, just a bit older, more far along, I guess, in development. One of them being Robert Thomas there, 20 years old, 80 overall. Another Costin, 2076. And the last one, you can actually see on the block there in Kyrou, 2175. So Bokk here, 19, is actually the youngest of the 4, but he's also the lowest overall by a lot. 56 overall there. Medium top 6. So let's see here. Other forwards is Roll, 19 years old. Stats there, they're not too great. He's 56 overall, but he was a 1st round pick actually back in 2018, 25th overall there. So I feel like he will develop into a solid player. On top of that too, they actually traded Edmundson. So Carolina's still going to have a ton of defensemen. Just, I guess now they're not paying as much in terms of salary. Edmundson, you can see 26, 81, $3.1 million for 1 more year. So they probably don't re-sign him after this year, as they're probably going to want to use that money for other stuff. And on top of that, they actually got a 7th round pick back, I believe. Yeah, 2021, a 7th round pick. So right there is the return. Again, a solid prospect. Edmundson's kind of like meh. And they actually retained, I think, 14% on Falk's contract. So St. Louis isn't over the cap this year. Let's go. There's 14%. So looking at the value in game, it's actually pretty fair. It is on Carolina's side, but not by too much. And I think I have the difficulty right now on medium. So we'll see what St. Louis says. I feel like they gotta say yes to this trade. And trade is accepted, so there you go. One thing that was also interesting too is like just by default, the AIGM had both Gardiner and TVR on the block, so they kind of even know they just have such a logjam at D. So St. Louis now adding Falk to a Stanley Cup champion team. I think it's really nice for them. We'll take a quick look here and see just what the Hurricanes lines are now looking like. And after the trade, guys, even though Carolina downgraded from Falk to Edmundson, their team stats stay the same. They're at hopeful, which makes sense. Like we said, they just have so many defensemen. So forward lines, this is just my best guess, as you guys can see. Who knows what it'll actually be. I feel like they got a lot of depth. Aho for sure leading that group. Now defense, Slavin Hamilton probably the top pair. Pesci Gardner on the 2nd. And then Edmundson TVR on the bottom pair. Also 2 scraps, like I was mentioning. You got Hayden Fleury, who I think is really good. He's young. Honestly, I'd probably start him over Edmundson myself. And then 2 in the AHL, like you were mentioning, you got Forsling there. You got Jake Bean. This is actually kind of cool. Wouldn't Forsling get a +5? First time I've actually seen this in franchise mode. So that's kind of nuts. That means you have an 81 and 80 actually in the AHL. Definitely gotta get more of that because that's sick. Also, too, Nikas here in the AHL probably makes an NHL team this year. So even though Carolina lost Justin Faulk, I still feel like their defense is very solid. As well, there's a good chance he was just gonna walk to free agency anyways. So at least they got something for him this way. And with all the defensive depth they have, I feel like they'll be just fine. And now, guys, we're gonna try to trade from St. Louis perspective. As you can see, Carolina actually is interested in Bokk as well. They want the 7th round pick, willing to get with the 5th. Falk though is not in the trade block, so that might make it a bit tougher to trade for. Honestly, though, I feel like on medium, this might go through, in which case, it's a very fair trade. Let's see what they say. Trades rejected. Okay, so that tells us that in-game, St. Louis definitely got a bit better of a deal, but if you look at the value there, it's really not too far off. And this is kind of cool, guys. Before we put the trade through, St. Louis status was contender, which I thought was kind of funny because they literally are the champions, but after trading for Justin Faulk, now their team status is champion, so that worked out well. I want to just kind of show you guys what their lines are looking like after the trade. So forward group there, obviously they trade a prospect. It's not going to matter. It's the exact same as it was last year. Now defense is looking real solid. You got Parayko, Pietrangelo on the top pair, Falk, Bouwmeester on the 2nd, Dunn, Bertuzzo on the 3rd. Obviously, this isn't accurate. That's just kind of what it looks like in game. Goalies, of course, Binnington as their starter, Allen backing him up. I feel like Allen, good chance he gets bought out after this year. 1 year left at $4 million, which is pretty expensive for a backup goalie. And I also noticed in the AHL they have a good amount of defensive depth as well. They got Carl Gunnarsson, Jake Dotchin, Pouliot, Borgman, like not too bad. Like we mentioned, a couple solid prospects, Kostin, Kyrou. Both those guys I feel could maybe make the NHL team. We'll have to see. And because we just made a trade for Falk, and in real life he signed immediately after the trade, I actually want to see if we can do that now. I think it was $6.5 million for 7 years, so we'll see whether or not he says yes to that. I see that he does want an extension, so that's good. We'll see whether or not he accepts ours. He's only asking for 4.8, so I feel like he'll for sure accept our $6.5 million for 7 years. Although at 7 years, he does ask for a bit more money. So we'll see here, 6.5, 7 years. I feel like he's got to say yes. And as we expected, Justin Faulk did accept that offer. So like I was mentioning, I feel like St. Louis definitely won the trade. Now, the contract might be a little bit rich, but I feel like it's definitely better to pay a top 4 defenseman in Falk than it is to overpay like a bottom 6 wingers. So I'm not really too upset with it. And next year, you guys want to try something new for a trade sim video. After trading for Falk and signing him to that extension, a bunch of people have been saying that the Blues are going to lose one of Pietrangelo or Schenn, so I want to see if it's possible to keep both those guys. Also, too, as you guys can see there, the Bruins won the Stanley Cup. Kind of funny. Of course, St. Louis just beat them last year. And actually, their AHL team, the Providence Bruins, also won. And I think Detroit got first overall pick and Lafreniere, so I, of course, loved that. So $16.7 million in cap space. We'll see in-game what Pietrangelo is asking for. So see, yeah, 10.6. Like, they've definitely made the contracts a lot more realistic. I feel like Pietrangelo in real life, they could probably get him for $10 million, if not cheaper. That means we now have $6 million for Brayden Schenn, so maybe we do lose both. Yeah, he wants $7 million, and we also have to re-sign Dunn, who's an 81. And next year, we're going to take a look at what Schenn wants. 86 overall, $7 million, 6 years. Does he get any cheaper? 1 year deal, that's about it. And yeah, okay, so we'll give him 6 years. I feel like Schenn, they can probably get, say, 6.75. So it's going to be really close. Now, for this to happen, I feel like they have to buy out Jake Allen. That is, of course, if they can't trade him away. $4.3 million. Buy him out. Only costs 1.4, so that definitely gives us a bit of wiggle room. And hopefully Husso will be good enough to be the backup next year. Now, surprisingly, Bouwmeester did not retire, but I feel like in real life, probably he's going to. Vince Dunn, this is going to be the weird contract. See, 3.9 for 4. 3.5 for 1 even. That's so expensive. Like, I think they could get him a lot cheaper on a bridge deal. Something similar to Brandon Carlo. 2 years, 2.8. So this is kind of going to suck because it looks like we're going to have to overpay him a bit. We'll do the 1 year there at 3. Also, guys, I noticed both Blyce and Fabry need new deals. Fabry, if he can stay healthy, he'll get a decent one. If not, I'm not so sure about it. One year for 1.25 actually seems realistic, though. And then Blyce, 1 at 1.6. I don't think, honestly. I mean, maybe he'll get something like that, but they have so many good young players. Thomas, like we were saying, Kostin, Kyrou. Alright, guys, so as it turns out, we actually were able to get everybody signed. Both Pietrangelo and Schenn accepted our offers initially. The rest of the guys asked for like an extra 100 to 200K, but they're all locked up. So as you can see there, about just under $1 million in cap space. And if we send them to the end of the summer, we could probably save a couple extra million by sending you guys down to the minors. So honestly, I feel like the Blues are in a good spot. Looking at their forward group here, just out the contracts, you can see like, what is that? Schwartz, Steen, Bozak, all going to be coming off UFAs next season. And I'm sure Bozak's not getting 5 mil. Steen's not getting almost 6. So there's going to have like 11 million there to spend on whoever. Probably guys like Barbashev, Fabry, Thomas, they'll be needing new deals. So they'll have a lot of that money there. Sunkfist even, maybe they let him go in a trade. Kostin's actually going to be locked up. Kyrou, if he makes an emergence, could get signed. Defensively, now we have the nice top 3, Pietrangelo, Falk, Parayko, done as well to round to the top 4. Bottom pair will be 2 or 3 between Gunnarsson, Borgman, and probably Bertuzzo. Maybe even Wallman steps up. And of course, for goal, we have Bainton still as our starter. And Husso probably as his backup. Maybe if Fitzpatrick earns that backup spot. So honestly, I feel like if St. Louis does it right, they should be able to keep all their guys. So I know what I've seen on Twitter. I feel like a lot of people are just kind of overreacting. But that's going to be it, guys, for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, in the comments section, let me know which team you think won this trade. And if you guys aren't subscribed yet, please do that. Also, guys, if you did like this trade video, make sure to leave a thumbs up. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.